Hey guys, so part of the learning curve with doing this YouTube channel is like how I add photos to the video. So I think I know how to. I want to show you this Kyushoku, this kids school lunch, because it's a lot different than in America. So hopefully you'll be seeing Kyushoku around here pretty soon. So I'll just kind of like lean to the side for a little bit. But Kyushoku was pretty cool. So after class, I was just picking up my materials and my props, and the third grade teacher was kind of chatting with me, and like some of the kids were asking me questions, and then my board of education friend was like guiding me. I need to go forward now, and so I think I eventually just met up with the principal on his way to the lunchroom, and I saw all the kids like they're putting on aprons and smocks and little white hats, and they were getting ready to serve and clean up after lunch. Like they were dressed in white, like they put aprons and hats on. I thought that was pretty interesting that they dress up for lunch. I could also see why. Like, how many little kids come home like from public school and just have like dirt and food and orange juice and tomato juice and pizza smeared all over their clothing? Makes a lot of sense to wear an apron like this. So, anyway, everybody's washing their hands. Everybody's putting on their kitchen attire, and we all sit down, and there is kind of a flow to lunch, and I haven't perfected it yet, but I think they start off with like a itadakimasu, and then we eat for a little bit, and then maybe 20 minutes in, there's a period where nobody talks. We're just listening to this little jingle, listening to a jingle while we eat, which is actually kind of nice because the kids like keep talking Japanese to me, and I don't speak Japanese fluently yet, so I had to keep saying, "Oh, sumimasen, wakarimasen. I'm sorry, I don't understand." But that's what I love about these kids is like they're willing to continue to ask me questions, even though they know I don't understand what they're saying. But they're just so eager to learn from me and learn and talk to me. So that's a really good place to be, as opposed to, uh, this foreigner Sean doesn't speak English. Screw him. Like, why do we even talk to him? I don't get that at all. These kids are awesome. So we have the period of no talking, and then some people continue eating. Like if you're eating, you continue. But if you're finished, that's when you whip out your toothbrush and you start brushing your teeth at the lunchroom table. And that was kind of I didn't expect people to be brushing their teeth at the table. And I think many of them don't use toothpaste. They're just kind of like, and they do it for a long time. I feel like it would make your gums raw. So that was kind of interesting. My predecessor actually packed for me an apron, a headband, a cup, and then a toothbrush and toothpaste for me. So like that was all taken care of. It's these little things that like I don't know. I feel like I'm the luckiest jet in the world. Like even though I'm not in a major city, even though I'm not in like a town with a sunken temple or like awesome Jingo Gate or something. Like I have the best setup. One school, 7 classes, great people, great predecessor, great apartment. I'm the luckiest jet. Don't tell anyone because this will be like the most coveted place, but I'm really so thankful and so lucky and so happy. And this is just day one, so it's only gonna get better from here as I develop my craft, as I learn what the kids like, as I get more comfortable with activities and games for kids. Right now, I'm just being corny and funny and interesting, like I am, but soon I'll be like using games that are tried and true processes for kids to learn. Like we're gonna talk about food. Like this is the point of the video. Okay, so I sit down and the vice principal offers me which of these would you like, and they're all the same. But I'm like, oh, this one's look great. And so I sit down. Well, like I'm heading down the lane to like go sit down, and 3 different groups of kids are like, "Kochi, kochi, kochi!" Like, Sean Sensei, we want you to sit here. And so I had to do like I literally did eeny, meeny, miny, mo, so that they felt I was being fair. Because I know this can cause some rivalry at some schools. Like I've heard some stories. Um, so I was able to, choose without hurting anyone's feelings, sit down with the third graders, and gosh, they're so amusing and so weird and goofy, and like they'll just do like chopstick walrus, and they'll do like nose ball, and they'll do like eyeball thing, like anything to get a rise out of you, especially because the language barrier, right? So they can only do visual gags. So it's a bunch of slapstick artists who've perfected their craft, by the way, trying to get my attention, and it's just funny. Like, I think I probably would have thought it was annoying back in the day, but these kids love me and I love them, and we're just developing a relationship, and it's awesome. So, oh my gosh, let me talk about the food. 5 minutes in, let's talk about food. Okay. So you may have already seen it here, but it's kind of like a loaf of bread. It's kind of like a hot dog bun, but maybe less processed and a little more cooked. So it's got like this nice chewy crumb on the outside. Crust on the outside, and the crumb is kind of fluffy, but it's not. It's not like a hot dog bun. I feel like I associate hot dog buns with being kind of stale, but this was very fresh tasting and had a nice chewy texture, like had some density to it. Is I guess what I mean. And then, so on the tray, on the top left, we've got like a cooked tuna and cabbage salad. So like maybe mixed with mayo or something, and it had a strong tuna taste. They said it was some other word. That might be a variety of tuna, but it was cooked fish, and with cabbage. And then the soup that was on the bottom right also had cabbage, which is not my favorite, but in the soup it was actually really good. It was tender and it was cooked, and so the soup was pretty bland tasting, nothing scary. It had a sausage that tasted like a watered down version of sausage. Like I think Americans and Europeans and Canadians are used to like a spicy sausage, a hearty, peppery, flavorful sausage. And this one didn't really have that. I'm not complaining because I really just wanted something mild. There's a lot of stimulation today. So I think it was really nice to have something bland. That's not an offhand comment. I mean, it was really mild and really palatable, which is what I needed today. Um, Biggest fear was like I was gonna find Kyushoku and not be able to eat it. Like that's a fear, because I want to be a good role model for the students, and plus I don't want to go hungry. I always bring a granola bar with me, and by always I mean today's the first day. But I brought a backup snack just in case. And then the third thing was like in a little souffle, like a muffin cup, paper muffin cup, and it was like squash souffle, pumpkin souffle, and the gourd actually had like a dark green exterior, but it was tender and cooked, and it was so creamy and buttery, satisfying texture for the pumpkin, and it also had mushrooms in there with like a cheese and zesty sauce, and then the oh, and there were also mushrooms in the cabbage stew, so it was like really mild cabbage stew with delicious tender carrots and tender potatoes and onions that were not very oniony. I wish they were a little more oniony. But overall, everything was palatable. If I had more time, I could have eaten the whole thing. Because there was so much stimulation, I felt like I couldn't eat the whole thing. Like I was talking and eating and trying to talk while I'm eating. So that little period where there's music playing and no one's talking was like a relief. Like, okay, I can finally eat something. And they were all really nice. I think they didn't expect me to eat as much as I did. So today the side choice was bread, and then tomorrow it's gonna be rice, and I think it's miso soup, and then oh I forgot nibiki hibiki something. I tried to translate it from hiragana. So anyway, maybe you guys will see what I have for lunch tomorrow, but I'm going to end the video now. It was a great lunch experience, and everybody was talking to me even though I didn't understand. Such a good experience. What a great first day. Having a great time. Love you.